points in the second half. Roscommon have got one. Malooly's under pressure again. That kick out doesn't work. Diarmuid O'Connor lets it off to his brother. Bang, corner of the net. They've got a fourth, and it's a rout.
Yeah, it's a rout, yeah. Again, the kick out, you know, Mayo are fantastic. They pressed high, smashed it, not lone one, but the three, and fantastic, the right man in the right place. But again, it all came from Roscommon kick out.
Diarmuid O'Connor and the older brother finishes with aplomb. Every chance availed of. 4 goals. Going off is going to be Jason Doherty. Big, huge cheer. And the player who's coming on in his stead is going to be Conor Loftus. Well, he's a he can do. So that's 4 changes now made by Roscommon. Try and lift spirits a little bit, if not change the trend of the game. Brilliantly caught by Higgins in as far as Aidan O'Shea. They're absolutely rampant. Parsons. Yet another one. 4-11 now to 5 points. We've only played 46 and a bit minutes.
Yeah, they're struggling big time with their own kick out, Ger. Again, that one went long to midfield, and Keith Higgins won it in the air. You know, at this stage, Mayo's minds must be switched to Kerry. You know, they know what's coming down the track, so it's all about everybody getting as much game time as they can now.
McManus out here as far as Conor Devaney. That's a good-looking shot by Devaney inside the right-hand upright. Gets his point. But it's goals they need. They're so far behind. Kick out, well-directed. One for the man who's playing at left half Fortis. There's a support player coming from a deep position. It's Chris Barrett. Loftus wanted it. Barrett said no, give it the other direction instead. To McLaughlin, who got a great goal. Andy Moran. Oh, that's a wonderful team goal, or team point rather. Goal and a point for Andy Moran. Just a super score.
Yeah, excellently working. Again, the right man, the right place. But for Roscommon, Gerard, you know, as a player, it's a difficult place to be out there now. You know, the game's virtually over. It's a case of just keeping your own house in order, and you know.
Now, what do the men in the white coats spot? We think there might be a punch that should be noted. What's the referee doing? He's got his notebook out again here. And who is the guilty party? We think it's Fintan Craig. Referee saying to him that there was a punch. He's got a yellow already, so he is gone. It's gone from bad to worse. So 2 yellows, and they're down to 14 players. Can it get much worse? This is the blow that he issued, a low blow. There you are, spotted by the umpires. Well done to the umpires for spotting it. It's a yellow card offence, the referee has decided, but there are 2 of those, and so Kevin McStay's team's down to 14, and they're already so many points behind.
It's just frustration from Fintan Craig. Probably wanted to start today, didn't get the start, and you know, I suppose his day's over now.
Well, it's a case of what the final score is going to be at this stage. Kevin McLaughlin back here as far as O'Connor. Into Loftus. Thought about passing it. Thought about scoring as well. He did neither.
Probably should have given it, Gerard, but
25 years of age. Seen a lot of football. Delivered so many good performances. That's a goal and 5 for him. The 5 points all coming from frees. The goal after 46 minutes. Well, some fans decided, I think it's time to see where the car is. That's caught. Superb catch by Seamus O'Shea. Great mark. Cillian O'Connor. Really, it's just been Mayo doing as they will in this game. So one-sided. It's moving nicely. The umpire's taking a good position behind the goal to see the ball in flight. It's 1 from play for him. It's a goal and 6. Super performance now in the second half. Ball's back in play, and it's Quillan Fitzmaurice. Back out here as far as Tiger O'Rourke. Into Sean Mullooly, the 21-year-old from Strokestown. Nicely caught by Diarmuid Murtagh, Roscommon's top scorer with 3 points. Little block on it by Harrison, brilliantly done. Got the pace out of that. Way on. And an equally big cheer for the performance this afternoon of Andy Moran. Goal and a point for Andy. Never lets the team down. And you may remember he was unfairly heckled last week because of local rivalry. Today, inside the last 9 minutes now of the 70. They all want to get in on the scoring act. Chris Barrett. Yeah, I'll have a bit of that. First today, 5th ever championship point for the 30-year-old. Solidly assured as ever. And it gets worse and worse from a Roscommon viewpoint. Danny Kirby is now getting a chance to play here. And Aidan O'Shea carry it forward there for Gary Patterson. And in the end, Niall Kilroy would love to score at Croke Park, even on a beaten docket. And he's done exactly that. For all the effort that he has put in over this game and the last, he deserves it. And a great Connacht final as well. Niall Kilroy, 26 years of age, UCD student. It's only his 2nd ever championship point. 4-15 to 7 points. 19 is also going to get a chance to come in, and that will be Shane Nally. Meanwhile, Alan Dillon. Quick change of direction. Back out towards Paddy Durkin. Oh, nice turn in by Cillian O'Connor. Guinea feeds it forward here. And they've got another one. David Drake, scorer this time. David Drake getting his 1st ever championship point there. Good work by the 27-year-old from Ballahadureen. So here comes Shane Nally. Nally on. And the man he's replacing is going to be Chris Barrett. Well, that's the full set of 6 subs now used by the Mayo management team on a thoroughly satisfying afternoon for all concerned. It's about as bad as it could have been for Kevin McStay.
O'Shea, fantastic.
Thanks indeed. So Aidan O'Shea, there he is on the right-hand side alongside Andy Moran, our man of the match, Kevin Cassidy's man of the match for this quarter-final. Well done indeed to Aidan O'Shea. Thoroughly good performance by you and your team colleagues. Keith Higgins at the receiving end of a challenge there from Quillan Fitzmaurice, but anyway, it's out to the other O'Shea, Seamus O'Shea. In space, nobody marking Shane Nally. Able to move forward here, the man from Gary Moore. Chance to kick it over the bar. And he's got his 1st championship point as well in what is just his 2nd championship appearance for Mayo. 4-17 to 7 points. I'm afraid it was a total mismatch. Donny Smith. Kicked forward by Murtagh. 3 against 1, and it's 1 in there by Colin Compton. And as Colin was trying to make some advances, he was hauled back, so it's going to be a free for Roscommon. Chance for a late point.
I think the big question now, Ger, is can Mayo match Kerry? And we were here, we watched the Kerry-Galway game. Kerry weren't by no means world beaters. Mayo stepped it up today, so it's, you know, it's really all there for who wants to take it more than a week and a half time.
Well, they have a past history, Kevin, and we know what happened a couple of years ago. Took a 2nd match down in Limerick. Anything can happen, and all those big matches live on the Sunday game coming up in the next couple of weeks. And that one is kicked over by Diarmuid Murtagh. It's his 4th point of the game. 2 from frees, 2 from play. He's got half of Roscommon's tally. And there are, what? Quite a gap between the teams. Four minutes of additional time to be played. Dillon back here, back as far as Shane Nally. This time Stephen Cohen giving it out to Danny Kirby. He'd love to score as well, but he's not going to get his way this time. Another holding on to that one for dear life under pressure. And then quickly taking the free down to Stephen Cohen. It's 3 against 2. Mayo have the weight of numbers. Anything could happen here. He's content just to tap it over the bar. Good point by Stephen Cohen. Smiles all around on the bench there. Good job done by Stephen Rochford, Peter Burke, Tony McEntee and Donny Buckley. A lot of talent on that management team. They have a lot of talent to deal with as well. They have a big challenge facing them in 2 weeks' time, or a little under, 30 days, when they play Kerry here in the All-Ireland semi-final. The other one, of course, Dublin against Tyrone. Here's McInerney. Outside him, he's got Niall Kilroy. He's already scored 1. Well, it'd have to be 1. Durkin. They get all the plaudits today. They've never given up. They've been ruthlessly determined. And Shane Nally picks this one over. He's got a second. That's not bad. His little cameo performance here.
Yeah, he's putting his hand up, Ger, for the next day. You know, it's a fantastic score when you consider. Even I know Roscommon haven't been great, but 4-19 in the quarter-final. You know, it's their 7th game on the bounce.
Trying to set one up here. This is Kieran Murta back there as far as Donny Smith. And Donny gets what is probably the last point of the match. The final whistle here. Mayo beat Roscommon by 22 points. And they go through to the All-Ireland semi-finals, where they will be meeting Kerry. A job well done by Stephen Rochford and his team. Colin Boyle and everybody else will take a lot of credit from a wonderful performance. Killian O'Connor finishes with a goal and 6. Kevin McStay with a smile on his face. He recognises that today his Roscommon side was well beaten by one of the best teams around in Mayo. It may have been their 7th match of this year's championship. They may have gone through the Connacht Championship and then into the qualifiers and now into the All-Ireland Series, but they are still going, Mayo, and who knows just how far they will be able to go.
And really didn't play in the second half. You know, we just sat down, watched the tape and made a few adjustments from a tactical point of view, and I think just upped our game to a different level that we know we can play at.
Did that come as a result of major words? Was it at any stage during the week?
No, look, we've had a busy couple of weeks. Roscommon won Connacht and probably, you know, fresh coming out of the blocks, and nobody gave them a chance, and in fairness to them, they started out of the blocks really quickly last week. No, look, we know we're capable of. Everybody's written us off as per usual, and we just keep going.
Written you off, and again, that same old cliche we hear about, apparently you're a tired bunch and a jaded bunch. What did you make of that?
No, look, to be honest, you were well conditioned, and we didn't buy into that. We've looked at our numbers and they're getting better and better, so we'll just keep going at it, and we've got a game in 12, 13 days and we're really looking forward to it.
When you say your numbers, which numbers in particular are you talking about that are getting better and better?
Got to keep those private, but no, look, we're in really good shape. We work really hard, and the games are just a bonus, and the way they've come at us and the way we've been performing, they've been up and down. Today was a bit more consistent, and it's not going to be good enough to beat Kerry. It's a great game to look forward to, and we'll knuckle down over the next 10 days and give it a right go.
Congratulations. Great performance once again, Aidan O'Shea. Johnny Burke from Mayo is here with your award.
So, yeah, Mayo are winners. Aidan O'Shea is man of the match. No punching the air in the studio today, I have to say, but having said that, that was very impressive from Mayo, and I'm sure the panel agree with that. I mean, it was a non-event column, unfortunately, but that's not Mayo's fault. They went out and did what they had to do.
Absolutely. Like if Dublin or Tyrone or Kerry did that to Roscommon, we'd say that's an All-Ireland winning performance, because there's always the caveats with Mayo, because you don't know what's going to follow on. But they did everything. They really had energy. They were very physical. They had pace. They had all the qualities that you expect with Mayo. They brought it to it, and they were, for the first time I've ever seen them, they were absolutely ruthless in front of goal. when have we ever seen them running up a total like that? So a supreme performance.
I think
by
they did
Roscommon.
exactly the opposite to what most people expected from this replay.
Well, I think we all expected them to win, and we did urge at the beginning of the programme to sort of let them off the leash, and that's what they did. They played like men with a newfound sense of urgency and energy, and really and truly, it was a brilliant performance. Now, we feel sorry for Roscommon because it's not like to get a humiliation like that. They've made some progress this year, but all it does is copper fastens the vast gulf that there is between the top 4 and the rest.
I suppose at the end of it all, Joe, if you're going to get beaten, you might as well get well beaten. At least there's no doubt about it.
That's what they get for booing Andy Moran. Started with the annihilation of the Roscommon kick-out. 7 kick-outs in the first half. It meant that Mayo were able to push up and run through, so their halfbacks were able to attack. Keith Higgins was able to attack, and I mean, they just ran lanes through them. And then the other problem was that Roscommon's 2 inside forwards were entirely stranded. You know, you need workaholic forwards in that situation, or alternatively, men runners coming through the middle. But as it was, you know, Mayo, once they'd got 3 goals in 5 minutes, they were just at that stage having fun. So it's a massive, Philip, make no mistake, it's a massive boost for Mayo's confidence, because they must have been very uncertain with the very laborious way they were getting through their games. So it's a big boost for their confidence. But obviously, they played under no pressure at all today, so the big collision is to come.
All right, lads, it hasn't been a great day, obviously, for the Roscommon manager, Kevin McStay, but he is here to talk to us. He's talking to Joanne.
Kevin, hard luck. What is it that happened today with Roscommon?
What happened? A young team got jumped on by a very experienced team, never got off the blocks, and they just went for the jugular early on. They brought the pace and power to the game that they didn't last week, I suppose. And we just suffered one of those things that young teams suffer when they're at the bottom of the mountain. So it's an awful tough day for us now. You know, we just didn't see this coming. You know, we thought we were going to be hugely competitive, and unfortunately the game was dead duck at half-time.
Those couple of games, a couple of goals in quick succession early on, is that, do you think, what killed it off?
Well, you know, goals in this stadium, you know, when the momentum is with you, do destabilise you. You know, especially again a young team, they get a bit frazzled and you know, shell shocked to a certain degree, and that definitely happens. But you know, they were killing us for pace and power all over the field, and we just never got to grips with it. So it's kind of a tough end to what was a very decent season for us. But look, that's part of life, and we'll just have to learn from it and get back up on the horse again next November.
They did tweak a few things as well, particularly probably pushing up on your kick-out seemed to do a lot of damage.
It certainly did. It was the single biggest factor, and they did it very well. And then, you know, Colm Lavin was getting a little bit edgy then because the lads weren't making the runs they should have been, and Mayo were really pushing up strongly, and then it just disintegrated essentially on us after about 20-25 minutes, and that's just life here.
It's an interesting point because people will automatically look and blame the keeper immediately.
Oh no, not at all. And we said this at halftime. Not at all. You know, Colm has made massive strides this season. You know, from the early days of the National League, he has made really big strides, and he will get better and better and better. There's no question. So he just has to suffer through and live through these sort of days. But some of the defenders, you know, when they look back at it in a few weeks' time, if they want to look at the horror show, they'll see that they didn't quite, you know, make the runs that maybe Colm was expecting as well. So there's no blame game whatsoever. We've had a decent season, Joanne. We'll go home now and pick over it a wee bit. But, you know, the essential part of the season is, you know, we got a championship out of it. We got 3 matches between league and championship here in Croke Park. And our sense is that, you know, we'll see a bit more of the stadium as the years go by.
Yeah, Connacht champions. So do you want to continue on and try to build on that?
Well, you know, we have to. I mean, it's Super 8s next year, so, you know, Roscommon want to be in the Super 8s, and that's what certainly will be a big target for us, whether we go through the Connacht door or whatever door we go through. But, yeah, absolutely.
Kevin, thanks very much.
Okay, thanks, Joanne.
Kevin McStay, Roscommon manager, of course. Kill for pace around the field, he said.
I think it was very honest assessment of the game. Pace and power. That's what Mayo brought to the table today. They didn't bring it last week. I mean, look, we've seen, as I said at half-time, we were talking about the four quarter-finals, the winning margins 8, 10, 18 and 22. There's a huge gulf between the top 4 and the rest. Now, Roscommon nearly won it last week. Why? The only chance you have of beating a top team is if they're mentally and physically not right. Mayo last Sunday weren't mentally at the pitch they should have been last week. They played with fear, they got a bad start, and they were always struggling through. From the very start today, Mayo were playing with energy. They were playing on their own terms. They were pressing up on the kick-outs. They were running at it. And you talk about pace. And yes, Mayo don't have pace in certain positions,
Yep.
but what they have is powerful runners. And if they get that powerful running game going, driving through the centre, they're a match for anyone. They troubled the Dubs last year. They can trouble Kerry when they run at the defence. And let's give credit to Mayo. I mean, it was an outstanding performance. If it was Dublin were producing that scoreline or Kerry producing, we'd be marvelling at the scores. It was, like, credit where credit is due. It was an outstanding performance. But, Michael, serious analysis of this game, forget about it.
Yeah.
It was men against boys. The game was over after 20 minutes, and particularly when the 3 goals went in 5 minutes.
There are a few pluses. There are a few real pluses, though, for Mayo. Although he wasn't put under a lot of pressure, Brenton Harrison looked very secure at fullback. He's very pacey, he's very aggressive off the ball. You know, he wasn't letting the Mayo full forward use his heft against him, and at no stage did Mayo threaten in there. So unlike last week, where Mayo were able to, where Roscommon on 3 or 4 occasions were able to cut lanes through the centre, that was closed off today. So that was a big plus. Also, we had O'Shea playing in a more advanced role, which is where he needs to play. In no man's land around the middle of the field, he'll not be a factor against the bigger team. What they need is a target man in there. And the more advanced that he plays and the more he puts himself in the line, the more that's going to increase Mayo's chances. So those, for me, were the 2 big lessons of today.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Time for us to head to another break here, but
So now we know it's Kerry against Mayo on the 20th of August, and a week later it's going to be Dublin against Tyrone. Mayo today gave an awesome display, and I'm joined by one of the goal scorers. Is unusual. Normally you're defending. Keith Higgins. Keith, talk to me about the goal. That was some goal you scored.
Yeah, I don't know an awful lot about it. They don't happen too often for me, but it just seemed to open up. You know, I think the boys kind of created a bit of space there, opened up down the middle, and you know, I suppose, like I said, don't find myself up in that part of the pitch too often, so lucky enough I finished up in the net.
You came today with a different attitude and a different strategy, and it worked. You really tore into Roscommon.
Yeah, look, we knew here last weekend, especially the first 15-20 minutes, that we were nowhere near the pace of the game. So I suppose that was a big thing for us this week. Put pressure on from the start. You know, try and play with a bit more pace, but more width. You know, I think luckily it kind of paid off. I think we went 6-0 up or 6-1 up, something like that. So, you know, the start was a huge thing for us, and you know, like I said, it kind of worked out well for us.
All Ireland semi-final is where you want to be, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. Look, I suppose you get to this stage, you get to the August bank holiday, and from there on you just want to start progressing step by step. So, you know, it's another step along the way. Like you said, it's where we want to be, it's where every team wants to be. So there's 4 left and we're there. That's one of the main things.
Well done to Keith Higgins, well done to Mayo. They're in the All-Ireland semi-final after coming through the qualifiers and an amazing journey.